this is a good place to start.
We're actually not going to get into my ongoing list in this one because this is going to be a long one, okay? 7 days of 7 phase filled with 7 gays of... I feel like I was going somewhere with it, but that never panned out when I was writing the script. So, anyways, welcome back to the last day of the Miss AllSunday debut, the channel for BL overviews, primarily, where at some point you suggest it and I'll give you a general feel of what it contains. In the meantime, I'm just going down my list. If anyone is watching at this point, what are we thinking? Does the format so far give you enough information? Just let me know in the comments below. Let's get started, shall we? As a way to celebrate my consistency for once, and as I'm starting to catch a rhythm in rereading or reading a story, prepping the scripts, hitting record, editing, and uploading, I decided to present a series-focused video. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm about to explain it anyways, but some BLs end up having a series created that follow the main characters or side characters in its continuation. Somewhat similar to side stories you'd find on manhwas. Actually, don't quote me here because I've yet to receive my printed versions of manhwas in the mail and usually end up with dames or mangas, mostly physical copies. So when I get Painter of the Night, SIDEBAR, I'm specifically not reading it until the printed copy comes out. Set your calendars for September 12th. 7 Seas will have it ready to purchase, and I'm gonna be real. If it's only 1 volume available, I'll be sick. Cause it's the same reason I haven't read Champagne and Roses, as the physical copy in my hand is unmatched. And I pre-ordered it, but it's not arriving until September 16th. Same with Low Tide and Twilight. Like, I started reading around the mid-season 2 point because that week-to-week was making me sick. And even though, yes, I've seen the spoilers and read some fan fiction, spoilers don't mean shit to me anymore, okay? Like, I got to experience the big 3. One Piece is my fave if you haven't picked up on that by now. Not too much, because Bleach is my shit too. Attack on Titan, and so many more without spoilers as I started late in the game. That now I'm like, well, yes, actually, let me know if this is something I want to get my heart invested in. Because 86 destroyed me. Please buy the light novels. I'm holding out hope that we're getting a season 3. Delusional, I know. And shots thrown here to JJK and the subsequent Sato Sugu lore drop that I've unfortunately become all consumed in emotionally. Another rant for another day. I'm thinking it's better for me to present a completed series all in one video to give a general overview before I forget, or rather, bouncing around the spoilers. So, if you've watched this far, sumimasen, this will technically be a spoiler-ish video for a completed series with the same-ish format as the other videos, but like book 1, book 2, etc. Now that I've yapped incorrigibly for the intro, here we go. Today, I'll be covering the series Twilight Out of Focus by Jamon, because I DK how that A is stretched. It's 4 books with an anime adaptation on Crunchyroll, and of course the 12 episodes only. You know what I mean? By far, this is the absolute prettiest book cover I've ever seen. I high-key didn't want to take it out of plastic because it's just so captivating. Okay? Book 1 focuses on characters, main, Mao Tsuchiya bottom and Hisashi Otomo top. They're the same age as they're in the same grade, so Don't want to hear it. Anyways, Mal is a cutesy potato that's not necessarily outgoing, but has his film club friends. And if you know anything about film, that's all you have time for, as we're on a tight schedule and cutting the budget. Hisashi, he's hot. Like, even in the manga, the anime does his character justice in tenfolds. He's somewhat an introvert that keeps to himself, aside from Mal, who is his roommate. The summary. Film enthusiast Mal and his lone wolf roommate, Hisashi Otomo, make 3 promises. 1, that Mal will never tell anyone that Hisashi is gay and has a boyfriend. 2, that Hisashi will never approach Mal in that way. And 3, that they'll respect each other's private time. Masturbation. The second year's ground rules should ensure a peaceful life together in their dorm. But reality is never as simple as it seems in the movies. And some things are not so easily promised. Plot. There's a plot. And perhaps one of my favorite ones. I love a good film reference / BL shout out, as yes, it does make us giggle and scream in happiness. Plus, I studied film in school, and nothing beats being sleep deprived, semi-starved, and shooting take 12, scene 5 as the AD coaches the extras on how they need to bring the background together for the cinematographer after being on set for 10 hours and counting. Turns out we've recruited Fandashis. Good work, team. But it starts off with the pair redoing their contract, as the summary states, for their second year of... Okay, guilty here. I fake watched the first 4 episodes of the anime since I didn't know it had a manga, but I saw an edit on TikTok that was to die for back in like 23. So if I can find it by the time I post this video, I'll include it at the end of this one. But I stopped immediately and ran to the manga. Mal is starting a new project with his film club, as they are second year students. We'd say freshmen, they say first years. Just an example, because they are second years in this, so approximately 17-ish, 11th grade. The film club director suggests Mal's roommate Hisashi. It's an all-boys boarding school. That Mal is like, nope, can't ask. I don't want Hisashi to think that I went back on our promise. Long story short, he ends up in the film without that misunderstanding, and Mal comes to the realization that he's in love with Hisashi. Some stuff pops, and Hisashi breaks up with his boyfriend. Semi-spoiler, because I'm ready to label them as a green flag. But the boyfriend was a professor. Yes. But not in the same cutesy Hito join me no hero way. I will be defending that on top of the Jack and Jill Hill, okay? But filming occurs, and Hisashi and Mal traverse through their newfound relationship with mutual pining. Adorable like jealousy and project completion. Tags. High school romance, fluff, like angst, slice of life, film related, developing feelings, smut, okay? Strengths / weaknesses. It has no weaknesses. Argue with yourself. I love it so much, but I am able to recognize, at least in this first take, unintended, because there are 4 books in the series, that the context of the situationship is quite unclear, as we never hear anything about Mal's family. Maybe further in the series we will, but at least for the first one, nothing. Perhaps that's my ignorance of the difference in Japanese boarding schools or other boarding schools. Opinion / conclusion. It's so flip-flapping cute. It gives the same warm feeling as Bubbles looking after Flapjack from The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, and makes me root for them to last so bad. Like, I want a wedding in the final story about how they've been high school sweethearts since forever. Not that I apply that to Flapjack and Bubbles. That gives found family, which is the relation I'm making here. Target audience / flag. Super green. Between the main characters, it's consensual and they adore each other. The second one in the series follows a different couple, and it has the title as After Images in Slow Motion. I'm really liking the film puns. The characters Jin, Kochiki, and Gichi Ichikawa, older top, younger bottom, and I didn't realize it at first, but he's the director from the first story and mixed in with the third years. I totally loved his personality from the first book, but holy cow, is it so much better in this one. Angry, black cat type with passion, determined personality, and straightforward. While Jin is a crybaby, submissive, people-pleasing top, this is absolutely my favorite trope. The summary. Jin, third-year director, lead actor, and president of the film club, and second-year director, Giichi, see eye to eye on very little. Jin is flashy, flirty, and focused on keeping everyone happy, while Giichi expects the best from himself and others and will compromise nothing to see his vision through. Constantly at each other's throats, the two can hardly stand to be in the same club. But what will happen when family trouble forces them to share the same dorm? Will their common interests bring them closer as friends, push them further apart as rivals, or something else entirely? Plot. I have to go back and rewatch the anime now because holy cow, way too freaking adorable. Like roll around, kicking my feet, squealing adorable. So it kicks off with a film club meeting between the second and third years where Jin and Ichikawa, that's what I'm referring to him as, high-key, because I don't care for his name. Okay, get into another rift over their perspectives of film club. Side note, Mal is here being a cutesy potato. Anyways, they end up undergoing circumstances where they are roommates and Jin gets to see a whole new side of Ichikawa. They bond over BL. I mean, if you read BL, you know exactly how easy it is to make friends with others who do. Some stuff happens, worries about high school graduation slink in, and the confessions are so cute. Like, oh my gosh. So far, I'm melting at how sweet the confessions have been. They end up having mutual feelings shared and begin their relationship. They've also got a bit more smut between them, but turns out they've met before in childhood. Super cute too. Okay, super cute. And bond a little bit better because Jin has always known how Ichikawa was and felt for him there. Sidebar. When Ichikawa makes his commentary on his back hurting, Mao's little "I know what you are" look kills me. Tags. High school romance, slice of life, younger bottom, older type. I had to include this because I told y'all so. Smut, very little drama. Strengths/weaknesses. Would it be unfair to say I see no weaknesses for the story in its follow-up of book 1? Like, it's way too cute for me to be picky for real. I will say we still don't know what the hell these people are doing in school. Not that it matters to the plot at all. Like, high key, it's just a setup for context. The one thing I will say, spoiler for sure, is when the second years are putting together that video, I wish we could have seen the third year's reactions to it. Opinion/conclusion, super, super cute. Overall, could be a standalone story, but we get a peek at Mal, so a win's a win. Target audience/flag, super, super green. Just like the first one, I'd make an inference to say the next two will be as well, but I don't want to jump the gun in case I'm surprised. So if that doesn't track, I'm literally reading these one at a time and then typing out the format as I go because I'm super easy to confuse and don't always need context. I'll explain that more when we hit Spooky October and it's full of fanfiction wrecks. Characters. Back to the first couple. It's titled Overlap. Summary. What happens when roommates turn lovers turn into viral sensations? And what if your happily ever after has an expiration date? It's been 3 months since roommates Mao and Hisashi took their relationship to the next level, and Mao couldn't be more in love. or more nervous that he's not doing enough to keep his experienced partner satisfied. Just when it seems like he may have figured things out, the film club's movie goes viral, and suddenly everyone wants a piece of the breakaway star Hisashi. With graduation night around the corner, Mao must find a way to keep them together or risk leaving their future to the uncertain tides of fate. Low-key, I hate this, and it's exactly why I don't read the summaries ever either, because don't take this cuteness from me. I typed out the summary before starting to read of book 3, so I hope I'm not sad in about 45 minutes. Plot. Oh, great heavens. The summary scared me a little, but all for nothing. Oh, thank goodness. I would have been devastated. As we refocus on the first couple, they come back with smut to die for. Much obliged to the author, and I saw in the end pages after the main story ends, we get little peeks into other parts of the story, that a CD drama was released in like 2020. So, you know what I added to my Amazon cart for the next paycheck, right? Anyways, I wouldn't call this a plot for real. LOL. Just Mao and Hisashi being the cutest potatoes ever. Super gushy, and they even get to come out as a couple after being put on Front Street by Ichikawa. How you blowing up the spot? They began making plans for their 3rd year, and smallish spoiler, that red string of fate, man, it never gets old. I don't care how many times I read it. That little tied up string makes my heart sore. Tags: high school romance, slice of life, humor, established relationship, smut. Okay? Strength, weaknesses. I'm not taking any feedback on this. Sometimes I really do love a soft, cuddly story that doesn't need a bunch of pretext, context, or follow-up. Opinion/conclusion. Fluffy fun with, I'm not calling it angst, like, it's barely a smidge of the pain, but it's self-thoughts and resolve before it ever becomes an issue. I probably like this one more than the first. Target audience/flag. We're staying on trend with the green flag, but I'm seeing the 4th book has a different couple, so we'll see in just a few shakes. Fourth one. Please be aware this is secondhand embarrassment from the get-go. It kind of tracks throughout the first few chapters too, but once you get past that, it's adorable. And titled The Evening Monologue. Characters: Shion Yoshino. Bratty, loud, hella impulsive, yet passionate, and searching for love, high key in all the wrong places. And Rei Inaba, introvert, gloomy, bad at expressing his feelings all around, but dry humor is top tier. And I won this time. Younger, bottom, older, top. High key. The longest description thus far for the summary, the Midori Gaka, is that how it's pronounced? I just read it in my head and the other 3, plus it didn't really matter what the school was called, but here we are. Me mispronouncing something in the truest form. The Midori Gayaku High School's film club's newest member, Shion Yoshino, knows exactly what he wants and he's not afraid to work for it. There's just one catch. It has nothing to do with film. Shion's looking for the picture-perfect Prince Charming, and he'll do whatever it takes to find him, even if it means joining a club full of nerds. He announces his intentions on the very first day in the group, only for the club's former vice president, Rei Inaba, to make stunning declarations. I can promise you 100% you won't find a boyfriend here. Not long after, however, it's Rei himself who kisses Shion and asks him out. What does it all mean? One thing is for certain, Shion Yoshino won't give up on his dream without a fight. Again, reading the summary before diving into the read, bet your bottom dollar I will not be doing that again, okay? Because it's already got me feeling some type of way towards Shion, like, get your ass on, trying to mess up my fluffy fun time. Plot. Shout out to the AOT reference though. Okay, so boom. Shion, good at everything he does except getting a boyfriend, Yoshino, can drive you up a wall. He's such a twink-esque character, which, let me be clear, I just love that trope very much. But his body is selfish, which is somewhat the main plot point. Baby joins all type of clubs on a mission for a boyfriend, and of course, ends up in the film club. Ray, the third year, is basically like, I'll date you just to make you shut up, and then you'll go away, right? But that's not what happens here. Some stuff happens, though, and they end up, with the help of Ray's friends, of course, making things slowly work out. I was lost on needing to prove something to the friends he ended up not going to school with, so I was happy we didn't have to peek back into them. Tags, hurt/comfort, high school romance, slice of life. This one definitely has drama. Wow. At least more than the other three. We can argue here the book 3 has a little we're not supposed to be together angst, but again, angst. I've read Rose Mating. Twittering birds never fly. I'll be damned if this is angst. You see what I mean? Strengths/weaknesses. The strength is that it does keep its focus on film projects, which I like very much because it shows the realistic side of the demands in working on projects, but on a lighter version. It's case in point to why I consider this a strength, especially when Ray is working late night on projects, but she understands just being in the same space is more than enough. Weaknesses. Well, I suppose the series could have just ended after the third one, because while it's somewhat realistic of showcasing a new relationship in high school, I would say, especially between boys, but then we'd have to get into what gives me credentials, and I obviously can't accredit it to my decade of reading gay romance. However, that dopey lovesick searching for companionship isn't weakness to me. No, it isn't the weakness. It's the way it pans out fairly easily, as that does not reflect real life. But I'm certainly not reading BLs in hopes of gaining perspective about love, life, or relationship. It's shits and giggles. People we've never heard from again. You see what I mean? Opinion/conclusion. Like this for TBH and rating. LOL. Y'all remember we used to do that? Like, what possessed us? Anyways, to be honest, I like this one the least out of the series, but I do like it. Rating about 8.3 mostly. It's somewhat unrealistic to the point of including the drama, and perhaps you could say angst, but it does turn into a romantic bond. Lost me a little there, but as this is the fourth book, I wasn't really expecting it to deviate from the format thus far. Target audience/flag, green flag. All of these are. I mean, Ray is a little meh in the initial reciprocation, and his intentions were kind of mean, but have you read The Black Rose Blossoms? Alright, precisely, a green flag. Overall, these are cute, fun reads that do end happily ever after. Ugh, this one was a long one, and no doubt we'll see my suffering in full when I get to the editing bay. But nevertheless, I've been consistent. That's a win. Plus, I need the motivation to make it through however long it'll take me to get through this. Yet, now that we've made it to the end of debut week, I'd like to take the time to thank I'm going to be ambitious here, 5 viewers, and person of 1 like that has invested even an ounce of their attention into this. And yes, I know I use review and overview interchangeably because it's how my mind works, but I am in no way recommending you go out and read these stories. I'm simply saying, here's my unrequested opinion, and hope those of you that prefer a certain, let's use beat, since this is film oriented, to not be utterly disappointed thinking it would go a different way. Unfortunately, I've started another incomplete manga with only 3 chapters. It's like I hate myself. but it's called The One Who Never Leaves the Nest by Hado Story and Art. So I guess I'll be doing weekly updates on that, reading wise. Letting y'all know. Granted, that's definitely creeping into red territory, so no, LOL. This isn't a book club starting point, unless we're here. Know what I mean? Anyways, thanks for sticking around. See you again on the 28th and the 31st before the 28 days kicks off. Bye!
And these girls I've been tasting don't ever get naked. Put it in a ponytail, fucking from behind. Fucking with their clothes on, panties to the side, with their panties to the side. Like a dawn do, get away, let it slide like a sunroof. Got gold, got jeans, got hoes, got cribs, got niggas that'll die for a prince. Come a city on live, get sold to the dead, left town.
And of course, before we really go, I have to show you the book. See, you know, this is my favorite part. Look how adorable. Look how adorable. Okay, and I gotta show you the art. Let me put this down. Okay, this is my book. I bought it, so I can definitely show you the cover. It might get dropped, but oh my freaking gosh! Like how cute is that? Like, oh my gosh! And then I gotta show you this one, of course. Okay. And then book 2, again, super cute, super cute. And of course, I gotta show you the beginning. We really be getting fed, okay, over here in these little. And then book number 3. This is absolutely my favorite one out of the series so far. So far, the series is over. This is my favorite one because, yeah, just look at how precious that is. Can we, like, a little noise for the art? Somebody ate. Okay, and then there's one more. Oh, how cute is that? And then book 4. Just, you know. I mean, the art is super cute, though. We do gotta give it to them. Look, they got one, too. I do like that, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, super cute. See, he is baby girl, but he is so fucking annoying. Baby girl.
This message will destruct in 5 seconds.
You gotta be kidding.